When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, what's going on, Boise State fans? Happy Wednesday to you. BJ Rains here, BroncoNationNews.com for another edition of the Winston Venable Show here on a Wednesday with former Boise State player, all-league linebacker, assistant coach. You know him, you love him. He's here on his Wednesday hit, Winston Venable. And Winston, we got a lot to talk about, but this is actually going to be the first of two shows that we appear on today together. So folks are pumped to already the Winston chants are coming through. Derek's putting on his number 17 jersey as we speak for the show.
Let's go, Derek.
So we appreciate that, but you're gonna have to put it back on tonight because we get two for the price of one today, man. How's it going?
I'm doing great, but first and foremost, that's a subscriber only show, isn't it, BJ?
It is. Yes.
So not everybody gets.
Well, they can still subscribe tonight to check us out. But yes, we announced it yesterday. We got you on today, and we're excited about this. Moving forward, we have a new show for subscribers of Bronco Nation News. It'll be Wednesday nights at 8:00. Wednesdays at 8:00. Tonight is the first episode, and it's going to be a little similar to the back half of that show we had with the season preview show with you and Johnny and I. May have a cocktail, may just, hang out. It's a little more laid back. We're going to talk some Boise State football. We're going to maybe talk a little college football in general, maybe a little sports gambling. Appreciate Circa Sports for sponsoring the show and helping make this happen so we could pay Johnny and Winston a little more to make this happen. But Johnny, I think Winston, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot of different things, kind of just talk about whatever the heck pops up, BSU related or not. But the goal is every week for you to hopefully bring on a former teammate of yours as well. And that'll kind of be the main focus of the show, is to kind of have story time and go down memory lane. And everybody loved your, I don't know why, but everybody loved your couple of your stories from last week, particularly, when you don't have time to go back to the locker room, when you have to go to the bathroom. That one kind of stuck out. So, hopefully you can bring some guests on that can tell some similar stories behind the scenes, pull back the curtain a little bit. And the first guest tonight, I know we're excited about. You're going to have your former teammate Tyler Shoemaker joining us.
Yeah, really excited to get my buddy Shoe on. And we'll get into it a lot more later. But Shoe is one of my best friends, and me coming in as a junior college player, Shoemaker was one of those guys that really took me in and showed me the ropes and how to be a Bronco. And what a story he has that people will be able to hear later. You're talking about one of the greatest wide receivers to ever come through Boise State, and the record books will show you. And there's been a lot of great ones out there. So Shoemaker wasn't necessarily in the big spotlight as some of these other guys like Austin Pettis, Titus Young were, but he had a lot of touchdowns on that blue and a lot of fans here in the state of Idaho. So it'll be awesome to get Shoemaker on.
Hey, aim your camera a little further down so we can see you there a little bit. There we go. We got to see full screen Winston here. But as you mentioned, you picked him for a lot of reasons. But number one of the reasons was he came in a similar boat with Khalil Shakir leaving, similar to when Austin Pettis, Titus Young, and then he came in and in 2011 set the record and still holds the record now. Some guy named Kellen had a little bit to do with that and putting the ball there for him. But he has the single season record still, 16 touchdown catches in one season. He's top 10 in a lot of the career stats as well. So Tyler Shoemaker is going to join us tonight. If you have suggestions for other guests, put them in the comment section here, and we'll see if we can get Winston to oblige. But, we're going to try every week, Winston, if we can, to get either a former coach, you could get some coaches on too. Maybe Maybe get Coach Pete to stop by for a week. What do you say?
There's some guys out there. We'll see what we can muster up.
So we'll have that. We'll bring on a former player, have story time. You, me, and Johnny will just kind of, shoot the breeze a little bit with whatever's going on. Like I said, Boise State, college football in general. Maybe we can get Johnny to give us his top, gambling pick for the weekend, whether it's NFL or college. And so it's going to be some fun. Looking forward to it. Again, thanks to Circa Sports. If you haven't been down to Circa Sports Stadium Swim, make sure you check it out. It's an unbelievable spot. And the way it works out, Winston, on my way to New Mexico tomorrow for the game, I'll be traveling down today. And our first episode tonight, I will actually be in the Circa Sports Casino. It's 3 levels. They dub it the largest sports book in the world. I was down there for the Mountain West basketball tournament, and it's just a sports fan's dream. And as part of our sponsorship with them, I'm going to be doing the first episode down there. And if all goes well, scheduled to have Derek Stevens, the CEO, the owner of the Circa Sports and Circa Casino, down there for a live interview to kick off our show tonight. So we'll talk to Derek, get some information about the casino and the sports book and why they wanted to sponsor a dumb, silly show like this. And then we'll have some fun with you and Johnny and Tyler Shoemaker tonight. So I really am looking forward to that. And I do want to say, in with everybody watching and stuff, I know we are paying you for it, but you are giving up your time, man, and we really appreciate it. And it's going to be really cool for you to give up your time for the listeners here to get some insight, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
No, BJ, I appreciate it, man. And I know some of these former Broncos that'll get on appreciate it too. Just a platform to stay connected to Bronco Nation and tell some stories. It'll be awesome.
Now, Jordan says BNN After Dark was lit. Can't wait for more. I did say we could talk almost anything. So Kurt's saying, let's talk NASCAR then. Now, that probably won't happen. Just letting you know, I think we will skip past that. Keaton says, Circa is heaven during college football. Yes, it is. Comment about Shoemaker. He was always a player you knew could get the clutch catches, took up space, drew eyes to drive the play. You got Big Wade saying Shoe. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And yes, not sure if I can make it at night because of commitments. Will there be an option to view it? So if you are a subscriber, you should already have it. I sent it about 20 minutes ago. You should already have the link in your email, the private YouTube link to watch the show tonight. If you don't have it, send me a email and I'll make sure you get it. But subscribers should have the link in their email. Check that promotional file. If you're on Gmail, sometimes it goes to the promotional or spam folder, but the link has been sent. And if you cannot watch it live, yes, the show does. The link still works to watch it back on delay later. So just keep that link and then watch it back later tonight or tomorrow if you can. And again, if you want to watch the show tonight, you got to be a paying subscriber. So hopefully folks will pony up and subscribe. And we're still offering that deal, Winston. If you pay for a 1-year subscription, you get a $25 gift card to the Blue and Orange store, buy some new gear, and you also get a free round of golf at Timberstone. And those two together add up to more than what the subscription price costs. So you basically get a free subscription, and you get a gift card and a round of golf out of it. So hopefully folks will subscribe today, and you have time today to still subscribe and get that link tonight to watch the show. But let's get your thoughts, Winston. A lot going on. The whole QB dilemma. To be a fly on the wall in the coach's offices this week. Man, it was not the start that any of us expected. We could have probably had maybe 100 scenarios and guesses on how the game was going to go. And I'm not sure Hank Bachmeier starting that way and getting pulled in the second quarter of the first game was anything any of us saw coming. What was just your take on what happened in the opener there?
Yeah, that wasn't Bronco football, that's for sure. And I think like the coaches even have stated, it wasn't what they saw in training camp and fall camp and all those things. So off day for the Broncos. I knew it would be tough, though. We talked about it, BJ, just as far as going out to Research Stadium. And that was a fired up crowd. I think it was close to 27,000 sitting right on you. And they were loud and passionate. And I know the Oregon State Beavers, they wanted to come out there and protect their turf. So that was a tough matchup. And obviously, I think that slow start was not the way to go for the Broncos to start that thing off.
I want to get to the running backs because the O-line, we talked so much about it, talked so much about unleashing George, and it just didn't happen. But I think we got to start with the quarterbacks because that is kind of the bigger story around town going into, a game 48 hours from now or whatever it is. But what'd you make of 6 series in, 3 turnovers, them deciding at that point to pull Hank Bachmeier and to ride with Taylon Green the rest of the game?
Yeah, tough decision. I mean, I don't know. It probably seems easy on paper or from a viewing standpoint, just all right, Hank's not doing well. We got turnovers. Like something has to change. Something's got to change. And obviously, Hank's the quarterback. A lot of the attention goes on him, but the pocket was collapsing quick on him for, I think, his fumble. You never know what's going on with routes and all that type of stuff. But yeah, a couple balls sailed on him. He didn't come out and play the way he was capable of playing and the way we've all seen him play. And making that decision to pull him was probably really hard, not just easy. I mean, you think about what that goes into next week. How does that affect the locker room or whatnot, or if it does or doesn't? I mean, you just don't know. And I don't know those things either. I'm not a part of that program right now. So it was probably a tougher decision than people think, even though, Hank had those 3 turnovers.
Yeah, what do you make of that? And in game, you've been on those headsets and coaches talking back and forth before. I mean, what do you Tim Plow said he could tell in the first 6 plays something was wrong, and he just told Andy, hey, man, we may want to think about a quick hook here. Like, he just doesn't have it today if we want to win this game. But there's bigger implications in that. You've got the transfer portal these days. You've got guys not wanting to get, lose them for the whole season. How hard is that in the heat of the moment like that to make a decision that also could have bigger implications beyond just the game?
Yeah, glad I'm not a head coach. I mean, that's a tough decision. And I think in the moment you're wanting to do whatever you can to be successful right then to win this game. And it was pretty obvious that they needed a spark. They needed something to change. And that happened to be Taylon Green coming in and seeing what he could do and what his athletic abilities can provide. So you did see some flashes. I think big picture, the best thing about it is Taylon got reps in a big time game, and Hank went through some tough times early this season, and they get to get some of that out the way. Taylon gets his feet wet a little bit, and now you go into a next game and you think, hey, maybe we see both these guys. Maybe Hank gets it together, but maybe Hank gets it together this week, gets 40 on the board, and here comes Taylon. We see both of those guys in a really positive light. So that was a big decision to make. Something needed to be changed. And like you said, Coach Plow saw it, felt it. I know Andy wants to do everything he can to win, so they went with the change. I mean, tough decision. And we see Hank Bachmar kind of there on the sidelines the rest of the game. I mean, how hard, I don't know if you were ever in this situation, maybe in the pros at some point, obviously not at Boise State, but getting benched and being a 4-year senior starter, the way that it happened for him, he had to be a hit to the ego to not go back in the game. And you don't know what's going through his mind the rest of that game. Am I out of here? Am I going to win my job back next week? I mean, these are college kids, and he's been a 4-year starter. And we heard for 8 months about how this was Hank's team and all this. And then 20 minutes into the game, he's gone. How hard is that for a guy like Hank? Yeah, it's got to be tough, man. I mean, I like you said, they are college kids, and there's already so much pressure and stress on these guys from the get-go, coming off of last year's season, maybe personal stuff, personal goals, that guys are setting for themselves, wanting to play well, and they care, man. These dudes care about representing Boise State and, not just the school, man, for the alumni and for the state of Idaho. I mean, it's a big deal to play for the Broncos. So that pressure, unfortunately, I'm sure Hank is having had a tough day, tough morning, and he's a professional though. I mean, we're talking college athletes, but he goes about his work in a professional manner. I'm sure he is taking this in a mature way, and he's hungry. Hopefully it puts a chip on his shoulder and he gets after it this week.
Well, I want to ask you about Taylon Green and what you saw from him, and then kind of who you would start on Friday. And then we have some questions about the running game as well. But first, a 15-second message from our friends at Lithia Ford.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
Hey, thanks also to Idaho Central Credit Union. Check them out, iccu.com. The online banking, it's so easy to deposit a check, handle everything mobily. There's no need to ever go in to the branch. Idaho Central Credit Union. Check them out, iccu.com. Rowpaint.com as well, our title sponsor. Whether it's that concrete coating for the garage, for the patio, for the basement, it's 4 times stronger than epoxy. So check it out. And if you're looking for the interior painting in your home, they're offering a 10% special right now. Interior painting, just check them out at rowpaint.com. if you want to become a truck driver, new career change, fresh start, maybe never thought of it, but it's a great industry right now, whether it's one of these big rigs or whether it's an Amazon truck. Become a truck driver now. TCS can help you all the steps, all the things you need. Check them out, transcomservice.com. And Blue and Orange Store, I mentioned the $25 special we're running. You get a free $25 gift card to the Blue and Orange Store, and you get a free round of golf as well. But check out Blue and Orange Store, and free shipping. Any order over $40, free shipping. Any order over $40 online, or you can check them out in person at theblueandorangestore.com, and they got all those NIL Skinner and Matlock Halani shirts, Bachmeyer, so check them out at the Blue and Orange Store. Okay, Talon Green, he was exciting. He came in, had the 74-yard run. It was obviously very impressive. We got I'll put some highlights here on the screen while you're talking, but there was some good with some bad. I mean, as we heard Tim Plow talk about, I mean, on the 74-yard run, there were some wide open receivers that he missed. And so it was maybe wasn't quite as, perfect as it looked. Had some good runs, extended his plays. There's certainly some things he can do that obviously, some folks can't. Hank Bachmeyer certainly can't, but some of the throws, weren't perfect. They were kind of behind. What's just your take on what we saw from Talon Green?
Yeah, I think we saw a young quarterback, electric quarterback enter the game for Boise State. And I think his experience that he gained just from that one game here is invaluable. I mean, he's playing in a great atmosphere here. And I mean, look at that run. No one's catching him. Young Ashton Genty with a good block too. It was cool seeing both those guys out there on the field, BJ. I mean, that's the future of Boise State, 10-2. A couple of these young guys running around out there. I mean, Latrell Caples. So, I mean, for Talon in particular, I think these reps were just awesome for him to have. He's not going to make every read. He's not going to do everything perfect, but getting these reps is huge for the program.
What's the element he does bring, and you can see on the TV camera, that's the broadcast right here, when the play does break down and he's able to move up in the pocket like this and juke a guy and then just be gone. I mean, what does it add to an offense when you got a quarterback that can make a move like this?
Yeah, add some stress for sure. You're hoping as a defender you're not about to get shaked out of your boots or be able to not catch him right there like these guys on the screen. But it's just another dynamic, right? You have to be worried about the ability to scramble, extend plays on his feet. So what does that do? It makes DBs cover longer. And it's really hard to cover in college football being a defensive back. So if you're scrambling around back there and not only are a threat for your run game, but extending plays with your feet gives more time for receivers to get open.
What is that dilemma, though? Because Andy Diavolo said, hey, he does some great things. He's exciting. We love it. But, the experience that Hank Bachmeyer has running the offense, just in general, going to battle, 25 career starts or whatever it is. And in terms of being a polished passer, even though he didn't show it in that game, I think Hank Bachmeyer is the more polished passer than a Talon Green. And when it comes to this week and what you do moving forward, how do you weigh just kind of turning the keys over to Talon Green? He's your QB of the future, and let's just start that early, and he'll adjust as in the passing game on the fly. His legs are too hard to take out of the lineup now, or do you say, hey, Hank Bachmeyer deserves another chance, still gives this team the best chance to win from a big picture standpoint in 2022? What do you think that decision's like on the coaching staff? And I guess how do you weigh that, and what way would you go?
Yeah, I think, I don't know how close of a battle Hank and Talon had in fall camp, but there was a reason why Hank was the starting quarterback week one, because he gives the team the best shot to win the game, right? I mean, that's bottom line, right? That was the decision. Hank's the guy. Hank's our guy. He gives us the best shot to win. Now, I don't know how long it was when Hank got pulled, but he didn't play a good beginning of the football game. But does that say his future for next week? In my opinion, I mean, I'd love to see him compete this week. I'd love to see him have a great practices like he did in fall camp and be the starting quarterback going into week two. I'd also love to see them figure out a way to keep Talon involved and it not be a situation where he has to get put in. It's just a situation where, we've done it here in the past a little bit with couple different quarterbacks, one maybe more mobile than the other, and both of them are getting action. So I mean, I like Hank going into this second game because he was your guy going into the first, and I can't seem unless he has a terrible week of practice. It's like, oh, something's going on. It went from Saturday all the way until Friday. He's not himself. We got to go with somebody else. But I don't think that one game is gonna put him on the bench for good. No way.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I said, right after the game on Sunday, I wrote a column, BroncoNationNews.com, that I thought Hank deserved another chance to start. And based on what I heard from the coaches, nothing kind of changed my opinion on that. It sounds like you said, as long as he has a decent week of practice, he deserves to start. But what kind of pressure does that put on him now, knowing that, hey, yeah, you're starting, but, you better not throw an interception on that first drive or here comes Talon again.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, I mean, some of these guys are college players, and that extra pressure that I feel for them. But like I said, they're mature enough to know, like, maybe that pressure is good. Maybe a little bit of that is like, hey, I'm not complacent. If you can channel that the right way, it's really good for you. Now, you got to be mentally strong, and that's not easy. I mean, that is not an easy deal being in the situation that these guys are in, to not let it affect your mind. So what a challenge. And I think what a story if Hank goes out there and does his thing. And man, I mean, you get it done early in the season, week 1, have a terrible game or have a bad game, an off game. And then you come back week 2, light up the scoreboard and have a great time. I mean, and then continue that going on into a great season.
So what do you make in terms of, I don't remember what year you came back, but there was the year where you had Brett Rippon, then he had the concussion. He missed 2 games. Montel Cozart came in, and then, they ended up giving Montel Cozart some playing time the rest of the season here and there in packages, and they even had some, trickery stuff where they were both on the field for a couple plays. I mean, do you think now that, is this, if Hank Bachmeier comes out and dominates, is this still, the 99% Hank Bachmeier show? Or do you think they now get to a point where they got to find a way to get Talon Green into these games somehow, regardless of how Hank plays?
Yeah, I'm not too sure that I don't know the offensive game plan. I'm not too sure that the coaches are not antsy at getting Talon in anyways. Like maybe Talon had a little bit of a package or some plays in the Oregon State game, even if we were doing really well and Hank was doing really well. So I like I said earlier, I mean, I don't think that the Boise State coaches saw anything out of Talon Green that they didn't know. So I don't think it was a big surprise. This guy he can go on these 75-yard runs and we can get that every game. I mean, he does it in practice. He does it in scrimmages. That's what he is. We know what he is. So I'd be really curious to see if Hank's our guy, how are they going to incorporate Talon Green? Because he is a dynamic football player. Is he ready to go against a Rocky Long defense? I don't know. I think Hank has more experience for that. But got to put him in the game. He's a heck of a player.
And I think that is a dynamic here that maybe hasn't been talked about enough. And I do want to ask you about a Rocky Long defense in a minute, but it probably is the experience of a Hank Bachmeier, has faced Rocky Long a couple of times before, that 3-3-5. There's still a lot spinning for Talon Green, but so I think we're both in agreement that we think Hank should start. Hank probably will start, right? And then maybe you sprinkle in some Talon Green on some short yardage stuff. Be creative, make some packages for him, but the bulk of the action, unless he proves that it was not a fluke, that unless he struggles again, right, yeah, that it's probably going to be Hank Bachmeier moving forward. There's a lot of questions about the running game. I do want to get to that, but we got a couple other sponsors we got to thank real quick. Boise Dentistry Co. Check them out. That's my kids on the screen there, and that's pretty rare to get them smiling. So Dr. Miner must be doing something right at BoiseDentistryCo.com. Full family dentistry. Check them out if you're looking for a new dentist for your family at BoiseDentistryCo.com. United Commercial Insurance, a local company, but they can help write business insurance policies in 44 states around the country. Make sure you check them out. United Commercial Insurance, 229-8222. A quick call could save you hundreds of dollars on your business insurance. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Big supporters of Boise State and the local sports team. Locations in Kuna, across the Treasure Valley, 13 in the state of Idaho. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. Make sure you check them out. Ridley's Family Markets. Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. The Matt Bowser Show will be back come basketball season. So we're going to go from the Winston Venable Show straight into the Matt Bowser Show, the number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt Bowser. Make sure you check him out, BowserRealEstate.com. And play Timberstone. Get out there, book your tee time for Timberstone Golf Course, playtimberstone.com. The greens, the course, just in fantastic shape right now, despite how hot it's been. So make sure you get out there, and before it gets, you're going to be wishing in November, December, you got out and played that extra round of golf. So you can book your tee time today, affordable rates at playtimberstone.com. Okay, the running game, Ashton Genty. We talked all about this leading into the game. They're going to unleash George Holani, and he's never coming off the field unless he has to. And then he comes off, and Ashton Genty fumbles at the 2-yard line. 17 carries for 25 yards was the combined Ashton Genty and George Holani numbers. George Holani 9 yards on 13 carries. 7 of his 13 carries were for 0 or negative yards. Ashton Genty had 4 carries for 16 yards, I believe. So you had 25 combined yards from your 2 workhorse backs there on 17 carries. What were you seeing from the running game, and how surprising was it that they just couldn't get anything going there?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't want to say surprising. It was tough to see. I mean, it was unfortunate to see. So, they couldn't get it going, couldn't establish the run game. That was tough because, like we've talked about even prior, just establishing that run game, it's establishing a mentality. It opens up everything in the pass game. And no single player is, ever at fault, but you do look, and it's goes back to some of that chemistry. We've talked about it on the show before, where Kate Connie is back, KHG is back, Mason Randolph is now in on the O-line. He hasn't played a game. He's working with OJ. You got our transfer, right?
Cade Beresford.
Beresford at right tackle. So first game under the lights, these guys have not worked with each other in this type of setting, right? So game one, got to knock the cobwebs off, got to get that chemistry going and become a one unit out there. And it just never got going for the Broncos in the run game. I think a lot of factors.
A lot, it's an obvious answer, but Tim Plow was talking about yesterday, just every single time George Holani got the ball, that there was already guys in the backfield. I mean, he said it just got to get him through that first cut. If you can get him through the first cut, you feel pretty good about the second line. But what obvious answer, but for a running back, when he catches the ball and there's already penetration and there's not a whole lot of room for him, it looks like, okay, well, George Holani had 9 rushes for 13 yards, whatever it was, 13 for 9, but there's more to it than that, I guess. How key is the O-line just giving those running backs a chance? When they're in the backfield how hard does that make it for them?
Yeah, that was always difficult to coach too. I mean, I'd say sometimes on the comments, all I would write was penetration, and just like the word you just used, it's like, we can't do a whole lot here. So I'm not going to get on you too hard about it. And we're going to believe in what we got going on up front, and we're going to trust it. And when we get that rock, we know where we're going, what our aiming point is and all that. But sometimes it's a penetration, and, there's not much you can do. So play calling, O-line play, guys like George Holani, when he gets the ball, he can do a lot with less. So even if the blocking scheme is not great, he ends up getting 6 yards, 6 yards, and you're like, how did he pull that off? So when you don't see that happening, they need some work to do and to get their stuff together over there.
Carson's wondering how you felt about they started the game with 3 passing plays. Surprised they didn't try to establish the run early in the first drive.
Yeah, the only thing I would say there, Carson, is maybe that they felt really good about those 3 passing plays. Could have been an RPO situation. It could have been something where they're giving us a look to throw it, and we're going to throw it, and just happen to not be great throws or whatnot.
And on third down, I believe there was a pass interference that was missed on the third play of the game. Guy got, I forget if it was Caples or who, but somebody got mugged before he caught the ball. So Kurt's asking when does basketball season start? Not for a while, Kurt. We're one game in. I did see some talk. I know Kyrie Marshall tweeted something about it yesterday. Just the amount of fans already kind of jumping ship. It was one bad game, obviously, Winston, but I mean, they are 7-6 now under Avalos. What would just and the coaches did talk about needing the players to block that stuff out. They're not going to let Talon or Hank talk to the media here for the near future. They're telling guys to block out all the social media, all that stuff, whether it was the good stuff, telling them how good they are, or the bad stuff, ripping them. What do you make of just, and I guess what would kind of be your message to Bronco Nation about it being one game and maybe to Aaron Rodgers' famous quote, RELAX, relax. What do you make of that, and just this negativity on social media right now? And like I said, going into the season, maybe the over positivity, which maybe the guys had read a little too much of the press clippings as well.
Yeah, well, I think I'll keep it real. I think Bronco Nation has been spoiled, man. We have a really good program, and the expectations are almost unrealistic. We were the days of 12-0, 13-0, 12-1, 12-2, whatever. I mean, that's really hard to do. And I'm not saying that the Boise State Broncos now are not capable of it. They are. Every college football team feels like they can win every game. But realistically, let's not think that, let's not make the expectation of the goal right now to be 12-0. I mean, you have a new staff. But new players coming in, give these guys a little break, a little time to go out there and compete. And they got a whole lot of games on the list. So the negativity, players hopefully don't listen to that. The positivity, it's all about canceling out all external noise and focusing on what's going on in-house. And that's all that really matters. So expectations are high. Bronco Nation is tough. Because we like to win here. So we just got spoiled for some years of winning. And how are we responding when we lose? We freak out and we think that it's all going to be bad. And it's like, hey, man, one game down. Let's take it easy.
Big Wade says ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys. Stay positive, Bronco Nation. Like I posted earlier, we have eras far worse than where you're at currently. Derek saying amen, Winston. We got truth. We got preach. So you're hitting the right notes there with Bronco Nation, Winston. But we really appreciate your time, man. We'll end it with that. 8 o'clock tonight again. We will see you again, Winston. Really looking forward to this. If folks missed the beginning of the show, the debut episode tonight of BNN After Dark. Winston, John Mallory from KTIK Radio, and myself. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m., a new show, and it is for paying subscribers only. You should already have the email with the link if you're a paying subscriber. If you don't, check your spam, check your promotional folder. If not, email me, and I'll make sure you get it. If you cannot watch it live, you can check back to the archived. Check the link later. It'll still work for the archive version, but we'll talk some Boise State. We'll talk a little college football in general, a little sports gambling, maybe some NFL, whatever we want to talk about. And then we're also going to have a guest each week that was a former player of Winston's. Tonight's guest, Tyler Shoemaker, to help us kick it off, talk some stories about playing with Kellen Moore and playing back in the day, they're on that those teams right there. And he has the record, 16 touchdown passes in that 2011 season is still the record. So thanks to Circa Sports for sponsoring us. I will be at the Circa Sports Casino. Wish you could be there with me, Winston. We'll have to find a time to take a trip down there and do a live broadcast down there. But I'll be doing the show live from the sports book. We'll have Derek Stevens, the CEO, joining us live. So really looking forward to this. And again, it's going to be every Wednesday at 8 p.m. The link should be in your email. And if you're not a paying subscriber, you still have time to sign up and join us tonight. And we'll even throw in that blue and orange gift card and the round of golf as well. So sign up and we'll include you. And Perry saying we love our Broncos. Everybody's loving your comments, Winston. But thanks for the time, brother. And we'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight, man.
Hey, sounds good, BJ. We'll see Bronco Nation later.
There he is, Winston Venable, another episode of the Winston Venable Show here at BroncoNationNews.com. Have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you if you're a subscriber tonight at 8 p.m. on the BNN After Dark debut episode. Have a great day. And Mike Prater and I tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll be back here for Bronco Nation News Live. This is Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.